What's up everyone, Zach Seif here, and today we're going to be comparing single coil guitars to guitars with coil taps and coil splits. So what exactly is a single coil guitar? Well, it's a guitar where the pickups have just a single magnet or a single coil, and what the pickup does is it captures the acoustic sound of the guitar and it converts it into an electric signal that goes through the output jack and into the rest of your gear. Single coil guitars tend to have a very bright tone. Telecasters tend to have a little bit of what we call a twangy sound, and Stratocasters have a spanky kind of sound, and these are classic staples in guitar. On the other hand, humbuckers are generally characterized by having a fuller, warmer, and darker sound that can get more aggressive. This is where we have two magnets or two pickups that are wired together and they buck the hum. Single coils are notorious for having what we call a 60 cycle hum, and it's because when you plug the guitar in, it has the tendency to pick up the electric sounds that are around it, and that can be anything from AC ground power to what the lights are giving off, so they're susceptible to noise, and the humbuckers do a better job of rejecting that. This is very important in a live and studio environment, so you don't have any extra noise or sound coming through your guitar. So back in the 70s, musicians decided that they wanted kind of the best of both worlds. They wanted the brighter, kind of spankier sounds of the single coil, but also wanted to get a fuller, more aggressive sound when needed through the humbuckers. So that's where you get coil tapping and coil splitting. Now, some of you may use those terms interchangeably, but they are two different things. Coil splitting is the act of splitting the humbucker so that only one coil is producing sound, and coil tapping is when you tap the signal from somewhere else in the pickup wire. So you're not getting the full wind so that it sounds like a humbucker, but instead you're getting anywhere from generally 30 to 75% less, and it makes it sound more like a single coil pickup. So is there any real difference between these kinds of pickups and their sounds? Well, let's do a back-to-back comparison and you can see for yourselves. So starting with the tried and true classic Fender Telecaster, we've got two single coil pickups here that are going to give us a nice bright, kind of spanky, twangy sound. So we'll start with the bridge pickup and we'll move through all three main positions just to give you a baseline of what a single coil pickup is supposed to sound like. Complementary to the Telecaster is a Stratocaster style guitar where you normally have three single coil pickups. This is my beautiful Man Cutlass guitar, and I went with a humbucker single coil layout for this guitar to kind of get the best of both worlds. So we'll hear what a humbucker normally sounds like, and then we'll start splitting it and combining it with the different pickup options, and we'll see how it compares to the actual single coil. Moving on to my number one workhorse guitar, this is my Paul Reed Smith Custom 2408, and the cool thing about this guitar is the way that the circuitry and the pickups work is these little mini switches down here, these toggles, turn the full humbucker into a true single coil pickup. And this is different from the splitting and tapping that I mentioned earlier, because instead of doing just a regular tap, taking it from somewhere else in the signal, or splitting it completely, there's also some sort of resistor or capacitor. You engineers can correct me in the comments below. And what it does is when you engage that switch, it doesn't drop the volume like a traditional tap or split would, which makes the guitar a lot more usable live since you don't have a massive volume drop to worry about. And finally, that brings us to the Man Majesty. It's the John Petrucci signature guitar. And what's really cool about this one is when you engage the push button on the tone pot here, what it does is it splits the two inner pickups to give you a sound that would be similar to the middle position on a Telecaster or a fourth position sound on a Stratocaster. So while you don't have access to the individual splits or pickups here, it does give you what most would consider the most popular and the most useful split sound. So let's see how it compares. So now that we've heard all of the guitars by themselves, let's put them back to back to get an even more fair comparison. So, what did you all think? There's a pretty clear difference between a true single coil pickup and something that's been coil tapped or coil split. And you know what? They all have their own unique sound and personality, in my opinion. In the studio, if you're going for that kind of sound, I definitely suggest having a single coil pickup like a true Telecaster or a traditional Stratocaster style guitar. But the alternatives, like the PRS, I think would also work very well. That middle position is very convincing. And you know what? In a full mix, and especially live, no one's really going to know the difference or be able to tell. There is a slight sonic difference, but is it enough to justify having a true single coil pickup guitar versus one that can do both the humbucker and the single coil kind of sound? You guys let me know in the comments below, and why don't you drop your favorite guitar, whether it's a single coil or a humbucker guitar with a split coil, and tell me why you prefer that versus the alternative. As always, make sure you guys subscribe, leave a comment, like if you shared these videos. It helps me grow as a channel and a YouTuber and allows me to be able to put out more videos for all of you. I appreciate your time. Check out the links below. Until next time, keep on rocking and stay safe.